Welcome to TXT Track Time.
Welcome,
Team,
guys.
Eugene's Prefontaine Classic came and went as far as the 100-meter goes, and
Just
our
like that, it
sprint
was over.
queen, Elaine Thompson-Herah,
Yeah,
reigns supreme.
yeah,
What a
it
way to
was.
stamp her class on the field and show everybody, Sha'Carri and all of the comers, that they need to step to the side. This is just a prelude of what is to come in a
Mhm.
few months when she will take the world title.
Yeah, I think it's under 2 months actually. But yeah, I mean, come on, we already knew that Elaine is in a different league from everybody else, Elaine and Shirley, because once you get into the ranks of running 10 6s, 10 5s, 10 7 is a normal run for you, right? So yeah, she looked fantastic, especially after saying she's not at her best. She talked about her injury. I'm not really a full on quote unquote injury, but she talked about the shoulder issue that she was having. And of course, she's always struggled with her Achilles, but her shoulder thing was the main one right now. And to come out and drop 10.79 going away from
Right.
everybody else just looked like they were standing still beside her. And that's just the caliber of the athlete that she is.
Right,
She
that's
is
something
a
I wanted to
class,
say.
she's in a
Once
class
she
to herself.
once she separated from the field, she
Mhm.
was just getting stronger and stronger. No
Stronger
one
and
was coming
stronger.
back to her. And
Mhm.
I think she just did what she needed to do to win convincingly. And when she finished, I could see that she was not out of breath, not necessarily. There seemed to be a lot more in the tank where that
Mhm.
came for. Is she in the form of Shelley and Fraser Price now? Maybe not.
Mhm.
However, Elaine looks like she is ready.
Yeah, but we have to take everything into context, when you talk about if is she in the shape that Shelly's in. Because remember, Elaine right now, and okay, again, and I can't speak for where Shelly was when she ran her 10.67, but we can clearly see that Elaine is fully loaded in her training, right? All of the runs that she has been doing before, it's just a training run for her. And for me, this one was also a training run. When I looked at her expression across the line, she looked surprised. She didn't expect to go this fast. So this tells me that Elaine is literally right where she needs to be right now in terms of her training. She looked absolutely fantastic. And again, just going by her expression, there is more to come. When we talk about her 10.79 to Elaine, to Shelly, sorry, 10.67. Remember, you have to take conditions, all these things into. You have to consider all these things when you look at times. So, do I think it's far off from Shelly's time? No, I definitely think Shelly is uh hitting her goals right now, or reaching her goals faster than everybody else. But at the end of the day, it's how you turn up at the quote unquote trials. We know Shelly is going to do the 1-2 at trials, and again, how you
All
turn up
right, that's what I
champion.
wanted to bring up. We earlier in the year, we didn't anticipate seeing Shelly Ann in the 100 meters at the trials, and
Mhm.
now we know for sure that she will be there. I'm not
Mhm.
sure. I'm not certain if she'll run all the rounds, but if she's there, presumably she'll compete in all the rounds. And again, Shelly has already qualified for
Yeah,
the World
100.
Championships by virtue of being the defending champion.
Right.
However, she has chosen to attend the trials. We're still putting four persons forward to the World Championships. What should Elaine's strategy be going up against the Shelly that we saw running in Kenya?
She doesn't have to have no strategy against Shelly or Sharika, because at the end of the day, all she needs is a spot. She can come forth in at trials, meaning because Shelly is there. So if we're saying Shelly, Sharika, somebody else, and Elaine, right? She doesn't have to win, and we saw that last year. She doesn't have to win. Her target isn't to quote unquote win trials. She needs a spot on the team, and that's what she needs to get. So she doesn't need to focus on a Shelly, and Shelly isn't focused on anybody else either, or Sharika isn't focused on anybody else either. Shelly is going there to make sure that she's where she needs to be, because World Championships is just a couple weeks after trials. So I'm assuming that's why she's going, because she doesn't have to go, especially for the 100. The 200 now is a different ball game, because she said she's running in it, but she may not necessarily compete at the World Championships in it, because she said she's 35. But at the same time, I think everybody's in their own lane, focusing on themselves and hitting the targets they need to hit individually.
Okay,
But
so
there's
as for other
something.
persons, since Elaine has done a few races, there have been murmurs here and there that she shouldn't have left the MVP camp. She's not where she should be, and all this and all that. What do you make of all of
I
that?
mean, haters are going to hate. Until Elaine fails, I will always believe in her. And even if she fails, I will still always believe in her, because at the end of the day, nobody is perfect. You may hit it today, you don't necessarily hit it tomorrow. But again, her caliber speaks for itself, and she has risen above whatever challenges she experienced in the past. And I think she's in a good place. When I looked at her facial expressions in the past, she hardly smiled. Like, she had this kind of defeated look in her eyes. Like, you can see people's emotions through their eyes. And the eyes are windows to your soul. And she didn't look happy. No, she looks happy. And if I don't get anything else out of Elaine, I can appreciate the fact that she's in a good place in her life right now. That's what we want our athletes to
earlier,
be.
in last year prior to the last year prior to the Olympics, you mentioned that the turning point for Elaine was some race. I'm not sure if it was in Florida.
Yeah, I never forget it. It's in 2020, I think. There's a race that she did, and I saw some fire in her eyes.
2021 or 2020?
It was 2020. It was 2020.
Right.
Because I always watch her on her expressions, because she doesn't give much away when she's running. So you have to look for other things to try to find out what's going on with her. Because again, we're not in her personal circle, so we don't know, right? So we can only take.
So there was a turning point, and some fire had returned to her.
Yeah, I saw some fire in her eyes. In 2020, I think it was a 10-8 race. And I think it was the last race of the season. And I remember calling you, and I was like, this is it. This is the Elaine. Elaine is back. And that was before 2021, what was happening when everybody was still worried. And I'm like, going from that race alone, I could tell that there was something different happening in Elaine's life. And I can see that, guys, we all want to love what we do. And she's loving it now. She may not have been loving what was going on before, but she's definitely loving it now.
Okay, yes, so I agree as well. Elaine is in a good place. Now, this is going to be a showdown come World Championships, because Shelly-Ann has her goals and her objectives. She wants to run 10-4. She also wants to break FloJo's record. She wants to retain her title. Elaine wants to cup her first world title. She as well has her eyes set on FloJo's record. What will happen? They're going to be racing on the same track that Elaine just dropped a 10.79 on.
It's the same track that Elaine dropped 10.54 on.
Yes.
I mean,
she dropped towards the end of the season, after the meets. That's when all athletes give their all. So the 10.54, after what she did in the Olympics last year, was expected.
But she could have dropped a 10.5 in the Olympics. We saw that she slowed down. That was
right. So, and especially on Eugene's track, we could see that was possible. So now we see Elaine running 10.79 today. And this is a track that she will go up against the only other person that can beat her possibly, and that is, of course, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce. So that is where they will show down, and we can't wait to see all the other persons in the race. There's work.
Hold on, I just want to touch on a point. I want to touch on a point that you mentioned a while ago. For them in terms of what's going to happen, like nobody can say, and we've seen why Shelly has lost a race, or why Elaine has lost a race, was pretty much down to execution. So for who wins is who executes the best race on that day. Who has their best race on that day is the person that's going to win. So I don't know. We can't say. I mean, I wish it could be tied for gold and everybody be happy. But the chance of that happening is very slim. But yeah. I mean,
so also
it's
in
just
the race, to wrap up, I just wanted to also mention that Sherry.
I don't want to wrap up yet, because there's something.
In my eyes, she finished second,